talk strategy just a little bit today. And there's two ways to approach the speaking business, and whichever way you like is it's totally up to you. But you can go out there and chase gigs. You can just speak anywhere, anybody. If you have a topic on whatever your topic is, and speak from industry to industry, association to association, client to client, all over the place. That's totally fine, and that fills your calendar. And there is one downside to that. And the one downside to that is you got to spend the same amount of energy each year filling the calendar to the same level. And after a few years, you get a little tired of the work, and maybe you kind of slack off, and then all of a sudden your calendar is not so full. Now, on the opposite side of that thought is, what about building authority in an industry or two or three where you can make contributions to that industry over a period of time, and you can, move yourself from subject matter expert to possibly an authority to hopefully a thought leader to, quite frankly, where on your topic you own that topic in an industry.
You know,
And
and I can actually give a real live example of this right now after a call that I just did for ASSC with Raja. So Raja is a great example of this. So he's been in the ASSC for a couple of years, always struggles. And I made the joke during the call. It took Raja so long because he never listens and he doesn't do what I tell him to do. But he's absorbed the information as everybody eventually does. And in the last couple of months, he's booked himself into Smith GlaxoSmithKline, Pfizer, and some other big pharma company. He has now established himself in that niche that he now knows he can go after pharmacy associations and big pharma associations because he's got the credibility of these big organizations that he's done work with.
yeah,
He can write his own check now because now he is the authority in that space on his topic, and he can go
well,
out there.
and that's where he starts building trust. So the thing is, think about, visibility is great. Everybody says, oh, I should speak everywhere and be visible. Well, not necessarily. Visibility is one thing, but when you make contributions to an industry, the various ways that we contribute, that's when we start building trust. And trust builds authority. And you can't build that kind of trust chasing from gig to gig to gig, from industry to industry to industry. Now, if somebody wants to go gig chasing, well, God bless them, go do it. There's no, go do it. But understand, when you make that decision, you're also making the decision that every year you're going to have to market just as much as you did the year before if you want that amount of business. And probably new people, young people new ideas are going to come into the industry, which may, push you to have to marketing even harder. And Aiden, you said, when you're talking about Raja Pharmaceutical Associations, you and I have been talking about that ever since we started the ASSC, that associations truly are the gateway. And, in an association, let's just take any kind of a pharmaceutical related association, and using Raja as the example, he can work within that association many ways. I mean, he can speak at their annual meeting. He can do webinars for the association. He can do articles. He can even attend a meeting where he's not speaking and make contributions. And then authority in that association, then what we're always looking for is the corporate business too. And I think speakers need to understand that speaking at an association is not the destination. It's the gateway. It's the gateway to everything else within that industry. And if an association, using Raja with pharmaceuticals, if that association brings you in to speak, there's an implied trust, and then other people within that industry are going to trust. And there's the need for the continued contributions to that industry. But that's where I think that a lot of speakers don't really understand how this works and don't understand that, yeah, if this year I'm spread all over the place, all of these things all over the place are keeping me from focusing on my preferred industry. And that's keeping me from making the contributions, from building the trust, from moving a subject matter expert to authority to thought leader to someday owning that authority, owning that topic in that industry to where everybody comes to you. You don't have to go market. They
But
come to
yeah,
you.
the way you're describing it's that gig mentality that a lot of speakers have, where we're almost like Uber drivers. We'll take any gig we can get.
Yeah, there you go.
And we don't want to take any gig we can get. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a business. And that business means real processes, real prospecting. And I'm a marketing guy, but